The next image we have coming up, I've actually been looking forward to this because it's the only image that is not from Mars in this round. It's an image that Chris Moroney sent to us here today. And Chris, tell us about that image. I just had to have it up here on my tablet so I could follow here.
All right,
Chris,
so we're doing the moon, all right? Okay.
We are on the moon.
Yeah. So again, credit goes to Ken Johnston for this photo because this is the one. In fact, they did a couple. You can see a couple small white arrows, and you can see that round black circle that he's outlined in a couple of structures. But what got me going? Now I enhanced this photo, but look at the object in the back. To the right. Are you kidding me? This thing looks like a giant capsule, like something like a Tylenol capsule. It's got a vertical stripe on it. It's got an appendage sticking out of the side of it, and this thing must be humongous. And is this what the astronauts are talking about? I think it was Buzz was saying. It was saying, look, these things are giant. These crafts, the spaceships are giant. They're literally on the crater edge watching us. He said, you wouldn't believe how big these things are. And you can see that. Just use your magnifying glass. Billy, check this out. When you look at the, now look at that little white arrow on the left-hand side. Yep. And you can see, just go down to the right and then down a little bit. You see that round, what looks like a round platform. It literally has like a square tower type thing. You can see the top of it. With a magnifying glass, you can see this. And then you get that white line that goes down. And then it's this huge area that looks like there's structures all over this thing. And it's clear as can be. It's crisp. The second you try to zoom in, though, these things break up. This is the reason why I always tell people in my videos, use your magnifying glasses, people. You're going to need it. You don't want to zoom into these. And that one in the back, they've taken out the nose of this thing. Because if you go into this photo yourself, you can actually see an outline. It looks like it's got almost like a missile type front to it, to the rest of that white object. What does that? It is clearly not natural, and it's sitting on the surface of the moon. So, people ask, well, why would NASA lie? Well, there you go. Have a look at it. This thing is as clear as the day is long. You can see that thing sitting right on the surface. And I didn't have to do really anything to this photo other than try to bring up more of the white of that thing by just kind of burning through it and then using the dodge tool to try to bring out anything else that was white. And that's all I could get out of it. But clearly, there's something sitting on that surface of that moon. And if you look at, again, just look at all those little areas with a magnifying glass, and you can see what looks like cities all over this thing. So,
have you got the number for this image?
I'll have to give it to Thomas, and he can put it in the link. I think it's Apollo 16, I believe. I've been looking at a bunch of these, so yeah.
We work out the link later. This is an amazing picture. I love those satellite image, orbiter image. This is what I live for, so to speak. This is just so amazing. Phenomenal. I can't express myself.
Chris? Mm-hmm. Can I ask you what would be the distance for instance, within that black circle? Or Nev? Maybe Nev can.
That's why I was trying to get the proper image.
Oh, that's a very huge area. That's very big. I couldn't tell you as far as whether it's quarter mile, half a mile, 1 mile. I couldn't tell you that.
Okay.
Just judging by what I can see on that little white arrow, like I said, to the left, and then down, just go straight down from that left arrow, that white arrow, go down, you'll see a bunch of little areas. There's like masses and cities and structures sitting right there. I mean, but you cannot see this in the regular photo. You cannot find this. But when you enhance it and take out all of this washout, if you will, over the photos, all of a sudden these details pop right out at you.
All right, David, I know you have the pictures on your screen now.
I believe I have the correct picture in the circled area.
We would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Wow. Structure like crazy there. At least if I'm looking at the right thing, I'm seeing walls, I'm seeing 90-degree angles, I'm seeing structure, I'm seeing roof, what appears to be a roof, peaked roof. It's hard to assign meaning to everything that I'm seeing there, but it's clearly artificial. Excellent find. I'm not sure what I'm looking at, but it's boy.
Well, now have you seen the object in the very back go like 12 o'clock right at the edge, and it go right to about 2 o'clock? You can see that big white, what looks like a white capsule kind of thing with an appendage sticking right out of the thing.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no way that's some kind of crater. There's no way. That thing's sitting right on the surface.
That appears. My first impression is that's craft.
Yep. There's no other thing it can be.
Yeah.
And you know what I've been seeing lately? I've been seeing a lot of these. It looks like for years, somebody or something has been going to that moon. You can see what looks like all kinds of crash-looking crafts and just weird stuff. I mean, you can just see it all over the moon. In fact, Joe out of Alien just did one. It almost looked like a speedboat in the water. The only difference is it's the way NASA kind of manipulated the photo, but it's literally there at the left-hand side of the photo, and it's a structure of some sort. It's just bizarre.
Wow, this is a great find, Chris.
Oh, and there's tons of it. I just did a video on I got it up on my channel. That it just shows what looks like this giant satellite dish. And I'm not talking about the one that was very vague on sci-fi. I mean, there's cities all over this whole area. It's insane.
Wow.
Like I said, go 6 o'clock from that left arrow, that white arrow, go 6 o'clock, go down, you can see a bunch of little round things and brighter things in that darker area. And use a magnifying glass or your magnifier, and you're going to see structures in what looks like nice, clear, detailed pieces of land and little structures all over it. It's insane. And it's right there in front of people's faces, and they're just going, they never went to the moon. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, they never went to the moon. Well, let's say hypothetically they didn't. They still have orbiters. They still got the LRO.
Well, and that's again why with Jose Escamilla doing the color work on the moon, and all of a sudden we see hundreds, if not thousands, of structures and artifacts, and they studiously wash out everything.
Yep.
They get
Absolutely.
to the public, so we're looking at a plaster cast of nothing.
Yep.
And but even with that, we still find things that they can't seem to cover up.
Well, before we even started using, I think it was early 70s, we started using Photoshop. What do you think designed that? It wasn't us. It wasn't the public. It was NASA that did that. They've been using it right from the word go.
NASA designed it, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and everything gets watered down to the civilians. So there you go.
Yeah, you're right. Wait, just before I leave off on my comment, if you go from that capsule-looking craft on the edge of the crater, you go up about 11 o'clock, there's a big disc with concentric rings and a dome.
Yep.
I mean,
just have a good look at that whole photo, man. It's all, I've got everything highlighted that should be like a whitish color. It's completely done, and you can see what things are just like platforms sticking up off the ground. You can see just all kinds. It's insane. There's no way this is just natural.
Yeah. Wow. Nice work, Chris.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Martine, what's your thoughts on this picture?
Well, I'm looking at what look like discs to me. In fact, somebody mentioned satellite dishes. I would say there's quite a few. They're standing proud at the surface, and they seem to be on legs, and they look just like satellite dishes to me. I've counted 3 so far. Do you see where I mean? It's almost like they're on legs.
Yep.
Anyway, within your black circle, Chris, I mean, we're seeing walls, compounds.
Well, see, that was Brett. Was it Brett Collins? Was it? And it was Ken Johnson that actually did these. As far as that circle and them 2 white arrows, so I don't take credit for that.
Do you know what the Apollo mission it was from?
I'm sorry?
Do you know what Apollo mission?
It was 16.
See, I'm trying to find the original image.
Yeah, I'll have to go by and have a look at it myself, because off the top of my head, I've been looking at tons of these photos. So I could actually be wrong on that actual mission. I've just been looking at tons of these, and there's just so many to do. I mean, and this is just a small tip of the iceberg. So when people go, well, why would they lie about Mars? Here's a perfect example. And this goes back to 69 and early 70s. I mean,
So sorry to interrupt you, but back to Martine, you were saying about the picture?
I was just saying that that so many of the structures that I'm seeing here seem to be built on stilts. I wonder why.
Well, they say there's supposed to be still oceans on the moon somewhere.
There's water. Well, I mean, you remember that they sent something to explode the surface, didn't they? Fountains of water came out.
Yep.
Mars high or something. Yeah.
Mars is red, the moon is gray, the Earth is blue.
You know, funny enough, when you actually enhance these, well, if you go into the actual mode, check out the mode of these photos, they're actually colored photos. They're RGB. But yet when you look at them, they're completely gray and black. Why would you suppose that is? The second you try to enhance it with a burn tool, guess what? All kinds of colors pop out.
Colors come up, yes.
Imagine that. Why would that be? Why are they saying it's an RGB photo and then all of a sudden, oh well, wait a minute, we're going to just go ahead and show them
I have a question from Diana van Beaver again. Are you with us, Diana?
Yes. So how the water will maintain down if there is no gravity on the moon?
There is a slight...
There's a slight gravitational pull. And there's not a whole lot of water to begin with, and they believe it's like below the actual lunar surface.
That's right.
Because I actually did a test on the moon on Apollo 11 where they had the feather and they had the hammer, and they dropped the feather and the hammer and they both landed at the same time, you know?
Yep.
So there is gravity on the moon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what is it supposed to be? I think it was supposed to be 6%, is that right? 6% of the gravity?
1/6.
1/6, I'm sorry. But yeah, but they claim, believe it or not, a lot of these people who've analyzed these videos and stuff like that there's more than what they're saying. There's actually more gravity than what they're saying. Now, surprise, surprise, because like even with Mars, they claim, okay, it's, there's no water cycle, but yet you talk to the technicians that work on this Curiosity rover, they claim it's very hot at night, gets below freezing, very hot during the day and very, just below zero or freezing during the day. So, who's full of it here? You got these PR puppets that just claim that there's nothing more, we'll just feed the public anything they want to hear, or we want them to hear, but yet, you look at these, you talk to these technicians or just watch some of their videos, and they claim, they just tell you right out. Who's going to know better? The people that work on the Curiosity rover that has to have tolerances for cold and hot, because parts expand and contract, they're going to know better than anybody else, these PR guys,
My first question when seeing such an orbiter picture like this is, what's the distance from the orbiter to the surface of the moon? That tells us could tell us a lot about what we are looking at and the size of it.
Mm-hmm. It seemed like it said 16,000 feet. If I remember this particular photo well, I believe that's what they said, to the lunar surface.
Okay.
So,
Neville Thomson, what's your thoughts on this picture?
Mine. I've actually, in the past, I used to do a lot of moon images and that, and the stuff that's on the moon is absolutely like crazy, there's structures, there's things that you can't even put a name to, you know what I mean? It's like, but this image, you can see stuff lying about everywhere on it, you can't, I'm trying to get it back up here. Hold on. Right, okay. No, it's an amazing image, yeah. Hold on, right there, I've got it. Yeah, but no, what they tend to do is they tend to take away all the dark tones, like Chris said. They do exactly the same with the Mars images as well. You've got to put them tones back, and then everything just like comes out at you.
Come right out.
Yeah, they do. But plus also you were saying the coloured as well. Yeah, the coloured images, because when you enhance black and white, these little colour bits keep on coming up. You think, how weird. This is supposed to be a black and white image, and it's not, So they really on purposely made them black and white. I mean, we hardly ever see any colour images of the moon. I mean, we've been getting a lot of colour images of the moon from personal people taking photographs of them, and the colours on the moon is just amazing,
Bill Bryson was good for that. Bill Bryson was an amateur astronomer, and he would bring out a lot of these things that were absolutely color. And, so it doesn't surprise me. And here's the funny thing. I also believe that, like, when you're looking at the Mars photos and you're burning, what happens is, I think you're actually trying to cut through. The colors are popping out because of the density of the manipulation. How deep the density is of that manipulation. This is the reason why sometimes you bring out some colors, sometimes you just bring out tons of color. Different colors that just don't make any sense, where you think one object should be one color, and it could be like purple, pink, blue, and I mean, it's just all funky colors. Why? I think it's the density of the actual manipulation they're throwing over these photos.
See, that's why I like turning the color images into black and white, because with black and white, you can't hide as much with the color,
Right, absolutely.
I don't agree with that.
Because with colour, you can hide a lot of things.
Oh yeah, you can be fooled. The eye can be fooled big time.
You've got like 64,000 colours in a colour image, but with black and white you've only got 256 or something coming out.
Yeah. I think it's three-dimensional though with black and white, Nev. You know, 'cause you're using a lot of mid-tones that you need for your brain to see it as a three-dimensional object, a particular anomaly.
Well, I've done that. I applied that to both black and white as well as color. And if you have a lot of missing information in it, meaning the darker pixels, once you start to use the burn tool, that does become three-dimensional.
Yeah.
And both color and black and white. That's what I've found.
Yeah, it's just like the HDR, the whole image, and everything pops back in.
Yes, yeah. It depends on the quality of the image, actually, doesn't it? I mean, when you look at the old, some of those opportunity ones, well, even the NASCAM, isn't it? NASCAM, rather. We're looking at very grainy images. They're not very good images at all, and I think in black and white, they're awful, aren't they?
But no, this image has probably got a lot in it. I mean, even right at the back, if you enhance, if you got the, that's what I was trying to find. I was trying to find the proper sized image for this, because you can probably get it at 4,000 by 4,000 pixel size, and then from there you can enlarge it up hugely. But even in the back there, right in the back, you can see stuff that's like, what's this?
Well, look at the very 12 o'clock area of it. You can see this huge, what looks like a platform off the ground. You can see it's darker underneath of it.
Yeah. You can, yeah.
And that's what's just crazy. Going, okay, so how is this possible? I mean, it's there. And there's more than one of these things. And take a look at all of those at the very top on the left. There's actually other items hiding there, but they're being colored out. They're actually being like they're just airbrushing them, doing whatever they do. They just take them out.
When I was messing about with the Mars images, you normally find things on platforms and things like that, you know.
Yep.
That's right. These are on stilts. So many of these are on stilts.
Yeah.
Why are they off the ground? Why have they been lifted?
That's a great question. I mean, is it possible that way back in the day the moon had more water than?
It could be.
I don't know.
I would like, sorry to interrupt you, but I would like to hear Billy's point of view on this image. Billy, what's your thoughts on it?
Yeah. Well, this is, of course, an amazing image. One thing you got to realize is that the moon has water. NASA, I think it was 2013, put out a press release that there's liquid water on the moon. Mm-hmm. So the moon has water on the surface and underneath, probably billions of tons of water. Also, the moon has a very light atmosphere. You know, sometimes you hear people saying, "Oh, when they put the flag down, it was blowing, and the flag wouldn't blow because there's no oxygen up there, there's no air." No, actually, I'm not saying that's the cause for the flag to move when they put the flag in the ground, but what I'm saying is there is a very thin atmosphere. There's an atmosphere. There's a possible cycle on the actual surface of the moon. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Just want to make sure I didn't despair. Also, there's quite a few. Well, in the lower left corner, there's actually an octagon there.
Yep.
It's an 8-sided walled structure, and in the center of that, you see an actual very large building. Some of these things might be miles off the surface.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
These are supermassive objects. These humongous satellite dishes, kind of like the Arecibo dish we have on Earth.
Yep.
Some of these are bigger than that, and then you've got these humongous. I don't know what you call the antenna piece that comes out of like your DirecTV. What do you call those, Chris?
Oh, you got the arm with the LNB sticking out of it. Yeah.
LNBs. Yeah. These could be gigantic LNBs that go up a mile high off of the surface of the dish. But this is an amazing, there's a lot of structures here, even some that have been grayed out or whited out that I can still make out pretty good. Do you have any idea what the size from left to right would be on this pan?
They don't. I don't believe they even described it. They never even described how far from left to right, how much of a span it was.
Yeah. this could be miles. This could be 100 miles.
Oh,
But, I just
yeah.
know that these are massive images from the distance to see this clear. Yeah.
There's no doubt in my mind when I seen that craft or whatever it is on there. I said, "There's no doubt in my mind they've lied.
Yeah.
And they've been lying ever since. They've been manipulating photos, and that's the end of that. Nobody can tell me different because when you see something like that, you clearly. I mean, it's not like you're going, well, it could be the side of a crater. No, I mean this thing looks like a giant Tylenol sitting on the lunar surface with a vertical stripe on it, what looks like a wing or something sticking clearly out of the side of it. There's no way.
Clear
I have a question here from Linda. Linda, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, Linda, you wrote a question.
Yes, about if whoever it is that is there, if they are currently there, could they possibly be mining the moon for minerals or hydrogen or anything?
Yeah, she's right. Yeah. Linda, can I answer that?
Yes, please.
In 2009, when NASA discovered water on the moon and that there was masses of water on the moon,
Yeah.
albeit under the surface, most of it, their first thoughts were that they wanted to work on a program to mine, to actually find a way of extracting the water, in order to extract the hydrogen to make rocket fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So it's hydrogen is what is clearly under the surface.
Yeah, and the same thing would go on. Would apply to Mars. They want to extract the hydrogen from the water on Mars to create more oxygen.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yes.
It's also a major repository of helium-3, which is
Yep.
Yeah.
He beat me to it. Dave beat me to it. Nice.
I went to Buick.
Yes, thank you, Martine. David, too. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was just my thoughts of the structures that there's one that's like right there under the arrow on the left side.
Yeah.
Yes, it looks like a house. I mean,
it's some large structure. I'm not sure what it is, but it's huge.
It's angular. It is angular. There's no way it's natural.
Does anyone see vehicles?
No,
That
I don't.
Not
I
from
personally
that
don't.
distance.
Yeah, too big an area, I think.
Yeah.
It's twofold.
Yes.
Thank you for the question, Linda. Is there any other of our attendees that has anything they want to ask our UFAH members about before we are ending this first conference with attendees?
Well, I did have something. It was pertaining to David's image about if there could be professionals, that has the language, it's with the symbols and be able to decipher those symbols.
I would imagine that NASA hasn't missed a trick on this, and that all of the symbols and things that they've found over the years have been submitted to linguistic experts for analysis and interpretation. It appears to me that and I'm not a language expert, but it appears to me that the carvings I've seen are kind of a cross between hieroglyphics, Mayan glyphs, and Arabic writing.
Yes.
So it's a strange admixture with vaguely familiar shapes that we resonate to, but probably have different meanings than what we're trying to assign to them. So the quick answer is I'm sure that they have been submitted for an analysis, but obviously they're not forthcoming about any discoveries they've made in terms of interpreting them.
David, what we need is the equivalent on Mars to the Rosetta Stone, and to find English written on it and then the other languages, and then we can translate it.
We have one more question from Diana van Bever here. Diana, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Yes.
I just wanted to mention that, from things that I have read and other videos that I have listened to, I think that the moon is an artificial satellite. Has anyone heard about it or read about it or think that it's a possibility?
Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
If you ask me if I can be the first one to give my point of view of that, I think the moon is one big satellite, as we call it, a satellite station for space travelers to whatever, refuel, have a break, go for a hotel, go for a swim, whatever, before they move on to wherever they're supposed to go. I think that someone created the moon, and when I say someone created the moon, many people would shake their heads and say this guy is not, because the moon is huge. And again, we know minimum, absolute minimum, about the creation of our universe. We are just small ants in a huge universe. The size of us is ridiculous. We know nothing about the real size of what's going on or what's being created in the universe. So actually the moon could be created by intelligent beings, maybe not over 1 day or 7 days, but over a large period. Look how we are building big vehicles, ships, giant planes. It takes time. It takes really long time to build a huge, let's say a cruise ship, since you were talking to Diana. A huge cruise ship takes years to build. Imagine what you could build with technology that are tens of thousands of years ahead of you,
Right.
and the size of what you could build.
Mm-hmm.
I think definitely the moon is an artificially created object.
Yeah.
When you stop and think that the moon is exactly the right size at exactly the right distance to exactly
amazing.
the sun, just that by itself is enough to make any scientist scratch their head and go, what is going on here? My personal opinion is it's an artificial structure that was maneuvered into orbit at precisely that location for reasons that are perhaps beyond our understanding. Clearly they have an effect on the tidal forces on the Earth, and it may have been part of an ancient geoengineering project to make Earth more habitable for sentient.
Yeah, and David, also, do you remember that NASA used a spent spacecraft to crash into the surface? It created moonquakes, which indicated that the moon is hollow because it was still ringing like a bell for days and days and days.
That's exactly their words. It rang like a bell.
Like a bell, that's right.
Well, here's a little fun fact for you. Here's a question. How come every crater that you look at on the moon, it's always completely like it's been head on? How come there hasn't been, comments and stuff like that skidding along and making this long path? You always see them just perfectly flat on the ground. And they said that one of the largest craters was like 168 miles across, but only 3 to 4 miles deep. Oh, wait a minute, hold on a minute. And here's something for you guys can have a look at. I just left this link on phys.org. It shows a radar image of the moon, and this is taken 35 to 50 feet below the surface. Once you enhance that, it's a bloody city. You can see it. All you got to do is just darken it. Just take it. Just go to your light and dark tool. Just bring up the contrast, make it nice and dark, and you're going to see some crazy stuff on there.
Yeah.
I've done a video on this. I did a side by side, one that you and I would see with a telescope, and then you'd see what you would see there. Totally different. Totally different. Because people go, well, I can't see that on the moon, so that's BS. You're not going to. You don't have a radar on your telescope. So
you're obviously an expert on the moon. I'm not, but I seem to remember years back when I was interested in it before Mars took over. Isn't there a crater? Is it called Aristarchus?
Yes.
I remember back then they were saying that it's almost as if it's self-illuminated.
Yeah. Well, you got to keep in mind too. They, as far as NASA and whoever else is manipulating these, they're highly contrasting the walls of these craters too. And I've noticed if you take a burn tool lightly, just go through it, you'll see actually structures there. They'll take like a whole section of that whole crater and just block it right out with high contrast, and they brighten the hell out of it so you can't make heads or tails out of this thing. And that's exactly the reason, to hide what is really there. And when I looked at this radar image, and this was taken from, it was transmitted from Arecibo and sent back down to the Green Banks telescope, or radio telescope rather, here in West Virginia.
Yeah.
And these images are there. And look at the detail that's on that photo from phys.org, and it's insane. So even the astronauts claim they're underneath us. Mm-hmm. They're underneath us as we speak. What's that tell you? Now, he could have been talking about anything, but you know, is it possibly seen something go underground and then he didn't see it come back out?
Yeah.
Well, I downloaded the black box from Apollo 11, and in the black box document, every single thing they said was written down or typed it or entered into the data. Even if they sneezed, it was in there. And one of the things that one of the astronauts said was, look at the crater down there, the conical one.
Yep.
I bet those people never get out.
Yep.
That's all the black box official data from NASA.gov. You can download it. I've posted it many times. Well, that's an incredible stuff.
There's lights in the craters they talk about. And what's funny about the craters, because I mentioned this about the 168 mile across and 3 to 4 miles deep, but what's funny about it, they're still convex. Mm-hmm. They're not concaved.
Concave, they're convex.
Yeah, it's the same shape as the lunar surface. Oh, wait a minute. If something like this came and hammered this moon, why isn't it convexed?
Right.
Doesn't make any sense.
I definitely think we have a new topic for our next UFAH conference. The moon should be the next topic there, so prepare yourself for finding pictures from the moon and to discuss them with these guys here. And I hope that next time that we also will have Will Farrar, Rami Bar Ilan, and some of the other well-respected and awesome good anomaly hunters with us. We have to end up here, and I want to say thanks to Diana Van Piva and to Gerard Turner and James Tracy and Linda McClendon for being with us as an attendees on the sideline here. And we have the awesome David Gannett and Martine Grainey, Chris Moroney, Neville Thomson, the godfather of all gigapants, and Billy Carson and myself, Thomas Maggie, here today from the UFAH, representing the UFAH organization on Facebook that you should go to on Facebook and give us your like and see some of all the amazing posts that these amazing members are bringing up on the UFAH page. I want to say thank you to all of you for being here today, for joining us, for having this awesome conference. That was really great. I forgot to mention we also had Dolly Indigo Star with us as an attendee. Sorry for forgetting that. We have to mention everybody here. Thank you guys for being here with us today, and I hope you see us. I hope I will see all of you to our next UFAH conference, which is not planned on a date yet, to a round of moon anomalies. I think it will be.
It's high forte.
Say goodbye out there, and for all of you out there, until we see you again.
See ya.
Take care.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Bye-bye.